The 2024 Mercedes E-Class. This sedan just got a subtle refresh with the exterior, but the main change happens with the interior space. But before we get to that, I'd be very curious to get your thoughts regarding the exterior of this new 2024 E-Class. Personally, I don't really think it looks terrible, but I've mentioned this before. I do believe that these new Mercedes products, they're losing that swagger that they once had in the past. And this is starting to look very similar to those bulbous EQ electric products that Mercedes came out with. And they're starting to implement some weird headlight designs as well. Anyway, moving on from that, the interior space gets those massive screens plastered all over the place. We have the digital gauge cluster. We have that 14.4-inch tablet in the middle. And even the passengers get a 12.3-inch display so they can watch videos, and the driver is going to be unable to see what the passenger sees on that screen for obvious safety reasons. And once again, the interior space, this is another area where the new Mercedes products once again are simply losing character compared to just one generation ago, where they had those beautiful wood designs with the elegantly implemented air vents. I really appreciated what they were doing literally one generation ago with their vehicles. I was the biggest Mercedes fanboy, and I absolutely just love their designs. And personally, I was very excited to see where this company was going to go next with their designs and their technology. And here we have it. Bulbous exterior designs with tablets plastered all over the interior space. I'm fully convinced that the next generation of Mercedes vehicles, the entire windshield is simply going to be an infotainment. And a subscriber of mine, Excalibur, he was saying to me, companies like Rolls-Royce, Bentley, they have done extensive research and realized that their customers prefer physical buttons and switches when interacting with the radio or with the HVAC controls. But let's be honest here, the average age of one of those Bentley or Rolls-Royce customers is going to be well over the 50-year-old range. So of course, they're not going to appreciate all of this excessive tech. However, your BMWs, your Mercs, your Audis, these are vehicles that younger people can finesse their way into. You know, they can lease or finance vehicles like this. It's hard to finesse your way into a Rolls-Royce or into a Bentley. Applying for a loan on one of those cars, it's the equivalent of applying for a mortgage, basically. And we all know how difficult that process is. You know, 2 years of tax returns, 20% down payment. That's how it is with those Bentleys and those Rollses. With a Mercedes, a BMW, it's nothing like that. So the younger generation, they absolutely love the RGB lights and these massive tablets. And there's that whole generation of people that, you know, I've always dreamt of having a quote-unquote TV in their car, right? That's a really cool thing to have, apparently, for many people. I mean, the average person loves all of this. Like, in most people, they're unable to see the consequences of this overly digitalized world as we progress further. Nobody's really thinking about the end game here, so right now, just about everyone is in love with it. But aside from that, more importantly, back to the car. The E-Class Mercedes is when you get into the quality Benz products, okay? Anything below the E-Classes or the GLEs, they feel really budget. They feel really chintzy with their interior spaces. Your A-Class, your B-Class, your C-Classes, they all feel not the best. Let's just put it that way. Sure, those products drive nice, that's fine, but when you sit in them and you start poking around, you realize, okay, these are just cash grab products with the Mercedes logo stamped on it. But the E-Classes and the S-Classes, those are your more legitimate Benz vehicles. So if you want not only the badge, but you also want the quality experience that comes with the badge, then these are the types of vehicles that you should be looking into. They have currently released the E350, which comes with a turbo 2-liter 4-cylinder engine with 255 horsepower and 295 pounds-feet of torque. The E450, which is the model I personally recommend, the 3-liter turbo inline 6 is brilliant. You get 375 horsepower and 369 pounds-feet of torque. Both these engines come with a mild hybrid system. Anyway, these engines are going to be mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission, and the 4MATIC all-wheel drive is going to be standard with every E-Class, and that's great. And in the future, I'm sure there's going to be some form of a AMG version coming out, but that has not been revealed yet. And there's also a wagon version, which is going to be its own separate video. And there's two trim levels here with the E-Class. We have the Premium and the Pinnacle for both the E350 and the E450. Personally, I do recommend going with the Pinnacle because it's like $2,000 to $3,000 more expensive. And I will touch on why it's going to be worth stepping up to the Pinnacle in a little bit. But standard with every E-Class, all the safety tech, at least the ones that matter, it's going to come standard. You have your pedestrian and your bicyclist detection. You have your automatic emergency braking, your blind spot monitoring, and even a 360 camera. All of that comes standard and much more. So the safety tech, that's perfectly fine. And other things that you get standard with the premium base trim level is going to be a pano sunroof along with the 64 color ambient lighting, because obviously everyone loves those RGB lights, right? You also get LED headlamps with adaptive high beam assist and a lot more, but the main reason why I personally love the Pinnacle trims is because you get heat and noise insulating glass. That alone is worth stepping up to the Pinnacle trim. It's going to make these E-Class vehicles that much more refined and quiet. It also comes with a illuminated grille and a heads-up display, and you get active ambient lighting that changes depending on like what music you listen to, right? It has that sound visualization built in to the ambient lighting. So if you're into that, there you go. Other important optional features, it's definitely going to be the Burmester 4D surround sound system. That is definitely no joke, really one of the best audio systems that you can get in a new vehicle. And something else to consider is going to be an Airmatic package, which gives you air suspension, and along with that you have the available rear wheel steering function when you get the Airmatic package. So the rear wheels can turn up to 4.5 degrees, but personally I would skip the rear wheel steering and the air suspension, because typically Mercedes does an excellent job with just their standard suspension, so you might as well save the money and skip the complexity of the Airmatic. But I just thought I would mention it is there if you want it. Pricing starts at $62,300 for a base E350 4MATIC. The E450 is going to start at a little over $68,000, but the Pinnacle trim is definitely what I recommend. E350 4MATIC Pinnacle is going to start at a little under $65,000, and an E450 Pinnacle is going to be a little over 70 grand. I'm sure you have to add destination to those prices, but yeah, this is definitely looking like a $75,000 vehicle for sure when you go with the E450 Pinnacle with a few options that you want to get. Not cheap, but that's the price you have to pay to get a legitimate Benz product, you know, the E-Class or at least the GLEs. Yeah, it's going to be $75,000, $80,000. I get it, that's a lot of money, but such is life. And this is why many people like to stick with the C-Class level vehicles, because you can get those for around the $50K range, well spec'd and well loaded. But quality suffers quite a bit. Anyway, I've realized that people are simply going to buy what they like, and my main goal nowadays is helping people get the best deal possible on a vehicle. So in the description box below, I do have a free leasing calculator provided to you by AutoCompanion. He is one of the largest brokers in the United States, and his free leasing calculator is a very powerful tool because it shows you the interest rate on the lease along with the residual values of the lease and the incentives that you can qualify for in your particular region. And this is great because leasing programs, they change every month. However, this calculator will also compensate and update every month as well. And if you want to work with AutoCompanion, he is a broker located in the Washington, D.C. area. He does offer Mercedes-Benz vehicles, and on a 2023 E-Class, as of right now, January 31st, he's offering like 10% off MSRP, because the savings is obviously going to be with the 23 models. The 24s, it's going to be pretty difficult to come by, and there's hardly going to be any discounts because it's a brand new vehicle that's been refreshed. So if you want to save, you can potentially hit up AutoCompanion. He does charge a broker fee. However, if you sign up with my affiliate link, you can save some money off of that broker fee, and he can also ship the vehicle nationwide, but that is something that you will have to pay for out of your pocket, or you have to just pick up the vehicle at Washington, D.C. Anyway, I hope you appreciate those resources. Helping consumers save money in this ridiculous high interest rate and overinflated car market is the biggest priority for me with this channel. And if you appreciate that, please consider liking and subscribing. But thanks so much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye.